It's perhaps the most loved movie of all time, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. You remember the story. Dorothy is a young girl coming of age in flat, dry, dusty, sepia-toned Kansas, where nobody has time to talk to her except for her little dog Toto. But a tornado and a thump on the head later, and Dorothy wakes up in quite a different situation. You remember the scene where she makes her way to the front door of her farmhouse? She slowly pulls open the door, and she is in another world. A world where there are munchkins and talking trees and ruby slippers and wicked witches. It's a beautiful moment, but my experience of that moment was probably different than yours was. See, when I was a kid, it was no Netflix, no Blockbuster. We had to wait once a year for CBS to show The Wizard of Oz on television. So every year I would sprawl on the floor in our living room and wait for it to start and be transported to that beautiful, magical land. When I saw that scene of Dorothy opening a door to her farmhouse, it looked a little bit more like this, because we had a black and white TV. Oh, I was still amazed. I was still filled with wonder. When Dorothy and her friends got a glimpse of the Emerald City across the poppy field, I thought it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I didn't even realize I was missing the Technicolor part. You see, I'm convinced that most people go through their lives like that. They have ups and downs, they enjoy life, they have a good time, and they might not even realize they're not even seeing the full Technicolor version. They're just living in black and white. You see, on the day you're born, you're given a blank canvas. And one of the major decisions of your life is what you're going to put on that canvas. And some people get to the end of their life and they say, well, here's my canvas. It's just as pretty and white as the day I got it. Still got the shrink wrap on it. That's a tragedy, friends. Life is not supposed to be a spectator sport. We're supposed to get in there and get our hands dirty. We're supposed to make our mark. Other people say, well, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to emulate somebody else's life. And so they pick someone out and they try to follow exactly in that person's footsteps. What do they end up with? They end up with a bad copy of a life that's not even their own. Now, come on, how long a line would you stand in to see a Xerox of the Mona Lisa? The idea is ridiculous. The Mona Lisa is priceless because it's unique, it's an original. There's only one. We certainly don't need another copy of the Mona Lisa. What we need is your unique art in our universe. And that's where I come in. I help audiences turn on the Technicolor in their lives by showing them how to unlock the creative abilities that already lie dormant within them. I share with them a simple formula that they can use to solve problems, to face challenges, to make hard decisions, just by thinking more creatively. I illustrate these principles by using humorous stories from my own life. Stories when thinking creatively changed my life in amazing ways, like when I did a complete career change at the age of 35, when I won the hand of the woman that I loved in a most creative way, even when I lost 75 pounds last year by thinking creatively about it. I've spoken to audiences from 6 people to 3,000 people. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, and I have the zeal for my subject. I've spent over 1,000 hours on stage in front of audiences speaking. I can share with your audience how they can become more creative. Creative people are better employees. They're happier. They're more productive. They become problem solvers. There are enormous benefits to becoming more creative. You know, Auntie Mame once said, life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. I say life is art, and most people never even sharpen their pencils. I can turn on the light and the Technicolor for your audience too. Just ask me.